So this set says that Bunty downloaded the detailed statement of his IDI savings account from September 23 to February 24. He then calculated the difference, that is account balance after the nth transaction minus the account balance after the n minus 1th transaction between his account balance every time a transaction occurred. He then plotted the differences on a line graph as shown below in the chart. The transaction may be credit or a debit. But he was jobless until the month of September 23. His salary was credited on 1st of every month starting from October 23. The maximum credit to his account happened only when his salary was deposited in his said account. The maximum debit was made when he paid the premium for a life insurance. During the period shown in the graph, Bunty's bank balance was not negative at any time. So at any time his balance was never negative. Now here is the graph given to you. All the figures are there. As you can see, the first figure over here, which is minus, because it is below zero, so it is minus 10,000. It is above that, so it is plus 30,000. So this figure would be plus 1,50,000. Whenever this point lies exactly on the line, so you can find it out from these two corners as well. When these corners, wherever they lie, that is the midpoint of the figure, which is always looked at. So they lie on exactly a line, so that line would be the value. Otherwise, you would see where do they lie. For example, in this case, I see it is slightly above that. So above 25,000, below 50,000, and I see it is approximately 1/5 above. So I would call it 30,000 in such a case, right? Similarly, when I look at it here, it is slightly below the top point, right? So it is slightly below the top point. So similarly, it is below 75,000 and would be taken accordingly. That way, the other values are also taken. Now, these are the 5 questions based upon this. Let's start with the first question. And here is all the data. Of course, you can write down all the figures as well if needed, but I don't think that currently it would be needed. We'll straight away move on to the questions. First question says how many times amounts greater than 50,000 were credited to Bunty's IDI savings bank account for the given period. Type 0 if the answer is cannot be determined. How many times amounts more than 50,000 were credited? Point is, these are not the amounts credited or debited. These are the difference between the previous transaction and this transaction. These are the differences, right? So, whenever the difference is more than 50,000, it has gone up. In that case, I would say an amount has been credited by more than 50,000. For example, if you look at it here, this figure is 30,000 over here, and then it became 150,000. So difference between the two balances is went up from 30,000 to 1,50,000, which straight away means that a transaction of 90,000 has happened. Therefore, only it has gone up. So therefore, I can say here there was a credit of more than 50,000. Similarly, here there was a credit of more than 50,000. Similarly, here there was a credit of more than 50,000. Here also it was more than 50,000. Of course, whenever there is a, because actually two of these will be equal to 50,000. So whenever there are two figures between which you have a difference of two blocks, there would be an increase of 50,000. So next time it is here, an increase of 50,000, right? Next time an increase of 2 is here. There is again more than 50,000. Next time it is here. Next time it is here. Then I have over here. So if I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then not more than 2, not more than 2. Then I have over here, it is 10, over here, that is 11, over here, that is 12, then it is 13, and finally it is 14. So 14 times the difference has gone up by more than 50,000. Therefore, I can say it would have increased by 15,000 by 14 times. That is the right answer for this first question. Here comes the next question. What was the premium of the life insurance Bunty bought? Answer as an integer. Type 0 if the answer is cannot be determined. So life insurance was bought whenever there was a debit of more than 1 lakh. I mean, sorry, the maximum debit was there. If you guys remember that, it was given on the previous screen, right? When the maximum debit was there. And maximum debit was there in which case? What I have done, I have put up all those values in a table here that you can see on the screen, right? So in the beginning of September, let us say the balance was B. So first transaction was a minus 10,000 as we discussed. next was plus 30,000, next was plus 1,50,000, and that ways we have written it at the end of the first month of September. It was B plus 15,000. Similarly, after that, the next month it has become B at the end of October. At the end of November, it has become B plus 45,000. And whatever is the balance at the end of a month, it is the balance at the save at the beginning of the next month. That way it is going on. And I see the maximum debit in all these cases. If it has been made, it has been made over here. That is minus 3 lakhs. So therefore, this is the stage where the life insurance was bought. So my answer for this is 3 lakh rupees, which is given on the next page as 3. Because the question was asking in lakhs, so my answer is 3 lakhs for that. Here is the next question. Among the given months, at the end of which month did Bunty have the maximum account balance? Type 0 if the answer is cannot be determined. 1 for January, 2 for February, 3 for March. So as you can see, I have written them already on the screen. At the end of September, it is B plus 15,000. At the end of October, it is B. End of November, B plus 45,000, then B plus 5,000, then B plus 2 lakhs, and then B plus 1 lakh 10,000. Sorry, this was 20,000, and this is 1 lakh 10,000. Now, whatever the value of B is, I can surely say B plus 1 lakh 10,000 is highest among all of them. So, at the end of February, we had the highest balance at the end. So, my answer is 2 because 2 is for February. So, the answer for this question is 2, that is February. Now the 19th question says at least how many times Bunty's IDII savings account must have been more than 40,000 by the end of a month for the given period. Must have been more than 40,000, and type 0 if the answer is this. It is definitely more than 40,000. I can't say at the end of September because it depends upon the value of B. And similarly, I can't say about October. In November, it is B plus 45,000, which has to be greater than 40,000. In the end of February, it is B plus 1 lakh 10,000, which has to be greater than 40,000. But about any of the other figures, I cannot say whether they are greater than 40,000 or not. So therefore, my answer once again is 2 only. There are only 2 months at the end of which it is surely more than 40,000. And lastly, how many times has the account balance of Bunty has been less than 1 lakh? He's asking you exactly how many times it has been less than 1 lakh. But how can we answer this question unless we know the value of B, right? Unless we know the value of B, I can't surely say whether it has been less than 1 lakh or not. So therefore, for this question, I would say answer is cannot be determined. He has clearly written type 0 if the answer is cannot be determined. So the answer is 0 for this question.